Hey guys, Carburetors here. It's been like a few months since I've made a video, and it's been a really long time since you guys have seen this bike. I look back, it's been like 6 months or something stupid like that. Anyway, a lot has happened since part one, which was the only video I made on it, and you guys might have seen it in later videos in the middle of my yard, but the motor is now installed. I took some time. I had to actually cut the frame off and extend it up a little bit to make the 500cc Honda fit into this little itty bitty bike. It looks pretty gnarly, but it's 3 o'clock in the morning, so it's a little late to start it, but I might be able to do a quick little fire for you guys. As you can see, I got all the pipes mounted. I just cut them off here for now. Straight pipe. It sounds good. It works. The coils that were on here, or the original coils, are still good, but with the wires were all hard and junk. So I actually I think they're off like a 302 or something. Small block Ford. Anyway, I cut the wires and I just soldered them onto it and taped it up real good. Works just fine. I've got the tachometer off the street bike, and I am still running the 4 carb setup. I am not yet. I'm probably going to switch it over to the 2 Mikuni setup with the PVC pipe. But for now, the 4 seems to work. I got the throttle off the bike and everything. As you can see, that all works. I've got my very, 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 very simple wiring harness, because this bike has points now. You know, that engine has points. It's 1974. So all you need to operate your ignition system, which is here's my key off the Chinese bike. You no longer need the ground. Wow, the wire just pulled out. Nice. Anyway, I'll pause it. There we go. Got that wire back in there. Got the original key, but if you know how the CDI system works on these really junk ass Chinese bikes, you got your CDI box, you have your what is it, like 12 volts that goes into one side. You have a kill switch comes out the other. One runs down to your pickup, one runs to your stator, one runs to your coil or whatever. There's a whole bunch of just bullshit on there that you do not need. So and this is one of the wires. This required a ground to kill the bike. Where these really old school point systems, here's a set of points right behind this cover, all you need is 12 volts to operate the bike. Super simple. It makes sense. So what we have here is your 12 volt battery. This is the hot side. This is the ground. The ground literally just runs to the frame, and I have one that runs to the back side of my starter solenoid. But you have your ignition wire. It runs to the inlet side of your key. You have your key. So when you turn the key on, I'm not going to do that because it'll sit there in front of my points. You have power that comes out, and mine divides off 2 ways. So you're going to have 12 volts that'll run to your coils, because that's how these work. You put 12 volts to your coils, and your points will take care of your spark then. So I got to put 12 volts to your coils. Which on this case, I had a lot hard time figuring this out, but the black and white, which got me confused, because black and white on most Chinese bikes, that's ground. That's your kill switch. So I had a hard time putting power to it, but I finally did it, and it worked just fine, and there we go. So 12 volts runs to the coils, then I have my 12 volts running to my starter switch, which then comes back out of my switch into my one other wire that runs to my solenoid. And that's the entire wiring on the bike. That's it. The only other wiring I need to do in the future is I've got this nice big mess of yellow wires, and you know what yellow wires means on a bike. AC power, so now I gotta try to get in a rectifier to convert that to 12 volts to get my battery to charge. Whole bunch of techie stuff you guys probably don't want to listen to and watch. Anyway, let's get to the fun stuff and see if we can't get this thing to fire up. Alright. Set that for 40 amp. This battery's junk that's in here. Okay. Get my gas bottle. Alright. Yeah. There you go. Got you guys on the tripod. Been a while since I had to dig it out. Alright. Good. That's great. Just dump gas load in my hand. Got my fuel line, and the way these work is it has one fuel line that tees off to the carburetors. It's kind of a shitty system, but it works. So I can get this to go in here. You see it taking the fuel in right now. It's filling the bowls up. So let's sit there and drink it. Alright, that should be enough for a quick little. I'm not gonna do anything stupid, just a little fire up for you guys. Alright. Start. Turn our key on. When I turn the key on, then I'll put power to my coils. Which if you leave your key on after your bike is off, it's gonna sit there and fry your points. So always turn the key off on an older style engine with points. It's really good, especially for being stock. Really junk coils that are on it, and I just went through and cleaned the carburetors. I didn't really do anything with them. I put new upper gaskets on them, but it does piss gas out of the third carb over there. I don't know why, because the float was working just fine, the bowl seat was working just fine. This one's leaking a little bit too. So yes, I should tear into it. Am I going to? Probably not. I'll probably just run some drain hoses and let them just leak out in the bottom of the bike. Because it's not the first bike that leaks gas out the bowl. So I'll just run a couple drain hoses down. But it runs amazing. It's a really solid engine. No ticks, no knocks, nothing. I did leave room to get my oil filter out. Because you know they're an external oil filter. I guess it's part of the cooling system on these because there's no radiator or external cooler, so it sits right there, and there is enough room for me to get a wrench in there and get that out if I ever need to change my oil. Only thing I cannot use is my kickstart currently. It's electric start only, which is okay. So I can show you guys what's going on back here, because this is where it gets a little complicated. Back here we have the chain system. And I don't know if I walked through with you guys how this is working. If not, I don't remember. It's been so long since I made the video. But what we have here is your number 41 tooth sprocket that would have came with this bike. It's on the spline. The spline's actually junk. I did read all you guys' comments on the last video. You said I need to pretty much just rip that swing arm out and completely redo the rest of the bike. I am going to do that. I'm probably going to buy like a 400EX rear end or something, and I'll just rip the swing arm out of it and shock and try to get it all mounted up in there. I'll probably weld up a new shock mount, and I got the battery there and stuff. It'll be tight, but there's a lot of free room right there. I would say to put a suspension in. I can just get rid of all this garbage, because literally China at its finest is sitting behind 500 cc's of hell. So it's probably not going to end well when I hit the gas for the first time, but probably good reason for me to make the video before I drive it. But what we have here is this is the stock motorcycle chain, which is actually seized up solid. I soaked it in some gasoline and 2-stroke oil and got it to free up pretty good. But bike chains are number 50 chain, and these are 40. And the China bikes, or most bikes, are actually 41 tooth or number 41. think this is a number 41T chain. It's just right on there. But that's number 50, T50 or whatever the hell it is. You guys can probably see it. Yeah, it's like T50 or something. Anyway, what I've done is I took the original sprocket off the rear wheel of the bike. Kind of see over there. And it had 4 mounting holes. So I drilled 4 holes in the back of the sprocket. And it actually all worked out because the motor being perfectly straight inside the bike, you see it kind of is, and don't worry, the motor's not crooked. I had to weld the frame upward to get the motor in. It was stupid. Anyway, by having the motor straight, the sprocket was a good 2 inches off. I mean, you can see that if I had the chain on the stock sprocket right now, it would be a nightmare. But I was able to make up some spacers out of a couple 5/8 nuts and washers. Got it right where it needed to be. They're grade 8 bolts, pretty strong, should be good to go. I think the swing arm bolt up there, that little itty bitty thing for a bolt that China used, I'm thinking it's going to give out before this does. So we'll go with it from there. The only real thing that I'm missing currently on the bike is the chain cover, which wouldn't be a big deal except for when Honda made their bikes, they decided to make the chain cover the clutch relief or whatever, depress area, whatever it is. So I gotta get the housing in order to have a clutch, which kind of sucks. But the neutral safety or the neutral switch is all there. None of it's hooked up because I don't care. As far as chain goes, it all works real smooth. The suspension works just fine. It does loosen a little bit, and it is going to hit on the bottom of that swing arm bolt when I depress the suspension. It will hit it a little bit. Not a big deal. Eventually, I'll probably put a nylon spacer in. I don't know what it's going to take to get a 300EX or 400EX rear end in here, but it'll happen eventually. The front suspension is pretty clapped. I mean, this motor is not light. Yeah. So, the engine has 30,035 on it. 30,006 miles, something like that. So it's pretty, not high mileage, but not low mileage for a bike engine, as old as it is. Normally they're just parked. But eventually, for my exhaust system, I want to have 2 pipes going at the back. Actually, got to sit. Oh man, it's raining. Here we go. Got this Harley pipe here. It'll look pretty sweet. I got 2 of them. Let's mount those in the back of it. But that'll be about it. The front brakes are once again, China's drum brake setup. So you already know that's just going to end up me dead. So that's all going to have to get ripped out. I will be reinstalling the front plastics, so I got the key on it. That'll go right where it should. I have wire nuts on the key, so I can pull it out to put it in. So, I don't think there's anything else I want to cover. Oh, the back wheels. The original ones were them junk little 8-inch. These are 8-inch also, but they're off of like a Kawasaki Mojave, I believe. I can't remember. Anyway, they're off something like that. But they're the same lug pattern somehow as China. Kind of scary. So, I guess that's what the Chinese guys decided to copy, was a Kawasaki. But those tires kind of fit the 70s hell look that I'm going for. It'd probably look really cool if I just left all the plastics off, but unlike people that just go out and rip their shit on the street or take a whole bunch of pictures and post it on Facebook, I actually ride my bikes. This bike will be back in the middle of a mud hole, and it might be in the river. So I like to have plastic so that I don't instantly go blind and get blasted with hell from mud and trails. So I think that's about it. It's kind of weird having my thumb throttle still here. Does nothing. With that being said, well, thank you guys for watching this video. I'm sorry it's been so long since I've really posted a video, period, and even worse to this because it's been just sitting here. I've literally had the motor in it for probably 5 months, so I just never really took the time to throw it together. And I've literally had it in the shop for 2 days and it's almost ready to ride. But yeah, thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you in the next one. Stay tuned. Hopefully I'll get some GoPro action with this thing out in the trails. Maybe I'll see if I can get up against a YFZ or something. Alright, I'll see you guys in the next one. Have a good night.